Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. We're here to help you see the new you. My name is Carmine Ortega, and this is U-Turn. Good Monday morning, U-Turners. Today's another day and another week, so I hope you guys are excited about what lies ahead for you. I hope you have good things lined up ahead, no? So there's something to look forward to. And what I love about today is it's not raining. It's not raining too hard. Lately, maulan paghapon, no? And as you know, taga Marikina ako. Alam niyo na ako anong nangyayari pag sobrang extreme ng ulan. Pero so far, for now, the weather is good. So I hope you guys are having good weather wherever you are. Please feel free to chime in, by the way, and let us know where you're watching from. Actually, right now, meron ng dalawang bumabate, no? Hi to Maria Cel Pinpena Balondo. Good morning to you. Where are you watching from? Please let us know. Bing Domingo is saying good morning as well, and she says she's watching from QCPL. Is that Quezon City PL? What does PL stand for? Ayan, thank you for tuning in. Okay, so ngayon I'd like to greet some people. Happy birthday! Medyo marami sila, no? Happy birthday to you guys. Cha Velasco, Jose Marie Vargas, happy birthday to you. Elaine Manyo, and also Happy Castro, who's in the States, in Texas, and then also Lynn Azarcon. Happy birthday to you guys. All right, so as you can see on the screen, you're watching U-Turn on the new channel. We stream live Mondays and Thursdays at 10:30 in the morning. We're live on Facebook and also on YouTube. O, diba? Ibang level. So please follow us here on Facebook. Go to our page, TNC Now, and that's also our YouTube channel. You can also watch other episodes, previous episodes, replays of not just U-Turn, but also other shows. Ayan. CV is also saying good morning. Sampaloc, Manila pala, si Maria Cel. All right, good morning. So, okay, before we call in our guest, who I'm really excited about, no, I'd like to share our quote for today. Ayan. So our quote for today is from Charlotte Bronte, who was an American author. Classics yung kanyang mga libro. Her quote goes, "Happiness, quite unshared, can scarcely, sorry. Happiness, quite unshared, can scarcely be called happiness. It has no taste." Okay, so anong ibig sabihin yan? Para sa akin, it means, happiness is not complete if there's no sharing element to it. Like, you might have all the things that you want, you might be financially secure, you have your dream home, you have you can travel whenever you want, life is easy, you have the right career, but if you do not share this, happiness is not complete. There will always be some degree of emptiness. To me, it's that simple. So I always encourage my coaches, my trainees to share. And in fact, nakaka-affect yan sa peace or yung peacefulness na nararamdaman natin when we get anxious or we're leaning towards depression. I think one of the best things that can heal that is to share, to reach out to others, to help them, to give them our time, talent, and treasure. Ayan. So we can be more peaceful and we can be more truly happy. That is my take on our quote. So I encourage you guys to leave your interpretation of our quote in the comment section of the main live stream so we can see it. Okay. Leave your interpretation there. Share our live stream on your wall because we could pick your interpretation and you could receive our gift for today, which is a mini blender. Ayan. Portable blender. Oh, wireless. Oh. Kasi rechargeable siya. Ayan. So please do that. Share our live stream in your wall and then leave your interpretation in the comment section. All right. Meron pang sumasagot. Harvey Gamotia? Go, Sir Jeff. Ayan. Alam niyo na pangalan ng guest natin. Let us welcome a good friend of mine. I've known him for many years now. We used to work in the same company. Now he's Vice President for Operations in a contact center. But more importantly, he is a father to a little girl. And he will share with us his journey into fatherhood. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Jeff Mendoza.
Hello. Hey,
Good.
Carmine. Morning.
Good morning, Jeffy. I call him Jeffy.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for joining us in this episode. Alam naman natin meron kang story na ma-share. Thank you for your time. Why don't you say hi to our viewers and especially your friends first?
Hello to your viewers. And hey, thanks, Carmine, for inviting me. The minute you asked me, I had to say yes right away and I'll explain why in a bit. But for now, hello to the viewers, my friends, and I think I have family members who are watching. And special shout out to Sida, who works for DSWD NCR. She told me she was gonna watch today, and she is a very special part of my story. So you'll learn more about her in a bit.
Ayan. Very nice. Thank you. And thank you for spending this time with us. Alam mo naman noon pa, I've always been happy for you and your journey. But I knew very few details about it. Alam ko lang yung the bigger picture. Pero hindi ko alam yung mga details and
Right.
if there were issues or challenges. Rachel Go is watching. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Sir Jeff and Sia raw. daming nanonood, daming supporters si Jeff. Ayan, so I look forward to this interview because you will be able to share some details. I think a lot of other people have the same perspective as me. We know only generalities about your journey into fatherhood. So, ayan, simulan na natin. Okay,
Yeah.
so ladies and gentlemen, si Jeff, once upon a time, was single. And now he's a single father. Okay. So long story short, Jeff decided to adopt a child, and now they're together. He has a family and he's enjoying fatherhood. So, ayun Jeff, pwede bang simulan natin na dati mo pa bang pangarap na maging father?
No. So the turning point for me was when I was around 30. Because before 30, I had a series of failed relationships. And then when I turned 30, maybe 30, 31, was when I started, acknowledging that that was not going to be the future that I wanted, because not necessarily my previous partner's fault, more mine. And then I realized I've been working so hard, and then I wasn't getting real happiness from romantic relationships. So, and at that time, mga 30, 31 is when I started thinking about adoption. And what really inspired me was, I think within work, there were a couple of co-employees who at that time were either thinking about it or just started the process. So I started getting interested. So for many years, I thought about it. It wasn't so. I started thinking about being a parent through adoption around 31, 32 years old, but I didn't officially go through the process until I was 35, 36 years old. So it took me years to think about it. Uh, but the first thought really happened when I turned 30, and I said, okay, I think this is going to be the what I want for myself.
All right. So you wanted a family, you wanted at least a child. During the time na sinimulan mo siya isipin until the time you took action, what were your doubts or, apprehensions? Like, did you think kaya ko ba? Did you think, will they give me a child?
Yeah, I had a lot. I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of doubts kasi so I'm gay, and I talked about the failed relationship. So to me, that was a question that was always in my mind na, okay, if I was not successful in that part of my life, parang what would make me successful in rearing and being a parent to a child. So that's why it took me years, because I really, number one, I wanted to make sure I was ready for it personally. And I also wanted, to ask my family, and then just and the folks that I knew that were going through the process, were their circumstances were a bit unique. Because for me, I knew going into it that I was not going to have a partner. And I think locally it's easier for single parents. If you're a female single parent, it's typically easier to adopt, right? I mean, even if you don't do it the legal way, which I don't recommend, it is typically easier because you could just simulate the birth certificate, which is illegal, by the way. But for someone like me, who at that point I already knew I was not going to have a partner, it was not going to be possible, because hindi naman pwede sa birth certificate na wala akong partner. So I knew from the very beginning that if I was gonna do it, I had to do it through the SWD. So there were a lot of things that I had to consider, letting my family know, primarily making sure I was personally ready, and then doing the rest of the yung process steps that were part of the requirement.
All right. My question now is, what completed that equation, no? Na parang, what was the last piece na para ma-convince ka na it's time for me to take the first step or to take action?
So I talked about the a couple of employees who were really my inspiration. I don't know if they're watching. So it's Dre and Gracie, were former office mates, members of the LGBT community rin, who
Then Gracie.
yes,
Hello.
hey Gracie, hi Dre, and they successfully adopted. And the maybe 2 years into the year that I officially applied, I was starting to get more stories from them as parents, and I started getting very very curious. And the stories I was hearing from them made me more inspired to really do it. So I think that was it. I think it was 2006 or 2007 when I submitted uh, everything to the SWD. And even my first attempt to contact the SWD, so I called. So I think it was Dre who told me about the process. She gave me a list. She told me about this long questionnaire that I would need to be prepared to answer, etc. And I think I had the courage to call the SWD to inquire about the first step, which is a seminar that you have to attend. But even after that first contact, it took me more than a year to actually appear and attend the required seminar orientation.
Okay. So may isang taon at least na lumipas between that call and then attending the seminar, which was the very first step.
It's the very first step, yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Because you continued to chew on the idea
Yes, and I really didn't want to. It was a decision that I really wanted to think about and wanted to make sure that I was ready for, because relationships, you go in thinking it's long term. If it's not, you walk away, and it happens. But parenthood is different, right? You go into it. It's not like you can say, if it becomes hard, you say no. You can't walk away from a child. So that's why it took me a long time, because I really wanted to make sure that from the point that I was ready, there was no turning back now.
okay. So sige. You mentioned earlier na it's easier for a single woman to adopt a child. I mean, the tradition,
I think,
the legal.
yes, I think traditionally, to give more context on that, because I think
Yeah,
locally, we've heard of stories of single parents or even couples who do it under the table, where there's a baby that gets born, that gets, and then a single mom would use her name in the birth certificate. That those things happen, and those things
right.
happen more frequently for single parent who are females, and it's very hard for a single dad, because like locally also, if di ba, growing up, it's usually the mom that the schools look for in all government documents. It's usually until the child is 18 years old. It's usually the mom that is the guardian. So I knew going into it that was not going to work for me. That's why I really went to DSWD, which to me has been the best decision I've made um,
Okay.
in
All right.
this
So,
process.
dun sa sinasabi mong under the table, napakadali para sa isang babae na kunin yung bata, ilagay yung pangalan niya sa birth certificate. And it's natural for a woman to have a baby, di ba? Sa kanya lumalabas yung bata. So it's harder for a man, for a male, because you have to prove na anak mo siya. May nanay nga naman.
That's right.
So, my question now is, so you were single, that's it. You're single and you're a man, that's one consideration. The other thing pa is you also happen to be a member of the LGBT
Yes, correct.
community. Was that an issue for DSWD?
So it's not, but I didn't know until I went there. So I had questions. What would I say? I don't really know a lot of single gay dads who adopted. So I didn't have anyone that I could talk to specifically about my situation. So my fear was that no, maybe it will not be approved, or they will have questions, or it will take longer for me. But the moment I attended, they were very welcoming, and that's why to your viewers who are watching, who happen to be members of the LGBT community, whether you're a couple or you're single, it's a lot more progressive now. I think from day one during the seminar, uh, they made me feel very welcome, and they've been very accepting. And then I talked about Sida, who has been an angel in my life. Talaga. Sida is a social worker who works for DSWD, and she was able to guide me through the process. Because I think that's one of the things that is important for prospective adoptive parents who are going to do it through the SWD, is you really have to share your story, because they have to understand what your background is, what motivated you to apply, what you're looking for in a child, your family history, your relationship history. All of those are important. And you have to be very transparent, which I did. I fully submitted myself to the process from the very beginning. I did not hide anything. And I think that proved to be very helpful in the end, when I was matched. I can't hear you, Carmine.
It happens, di ba? Tayo. So my question now is, can you tell us briefly, no, what are the basic requirements or what's the basic process? Attending a workshop is an orientation is the very first step, and then what happens next?
So
Just a brief
yeah,
flow chart.
I think so you have to attend a seminar. That's the very first step. During the seminar, they'll give you a list of all the things that you have to submit, mostly documents, right? So birth certificate, NBI clear, and it's like applying for a job. So clearance, some proof of your financial status, employment history, etc. And then there's a questionnaire, and then you'll get assigned a social worker. So once you've submitted most of the documents, there's going to be a social worker who's going to be assigned to help you and guide you through the process. You'll get a list of questionnaire where that you'll have to answer, and then you're going to be visited at home. And then your caseworker, the DSWD social worker will interview you at home, folks who live with you, your neighbors if needed, and character references. And then after that, you wait to be matched. And it's really very easy. And going into it, I thought it was going to be hard, but fairly easy in terms of the application process. What took longer for me was the waiting time for matching. And
Ayun. Okay. So it was the matching, it was the waiting for, pangit man sabihin, no, for unavailable
yes,
child. Mahaba
Kasi-
ba yung pila sa ganyan?
no, I think it depends on your history, your preference, etc. Because part of the process is they'll ask you, are you willing to care for a child with disabilities? Are you looking for a female child, a boy under 2 years old, an infant, etc.? So I think depending on your preference, and then that typically dictates how long you're going to wait. And then more importantly, because it's really, that's one of my key learnings from this, right? It's not just about whether you're ready or what your background is. It's really, there's a group of select people, I think they're called the matching secretariat or committee, that gets to decide if a baby is truly matching the background of a prospective parent. So for me, I think it took longer because I'm single, LGBT dad, and typically I would think it would be faster. The process is faster for traditional couples, which I knew from the beginning. I had no questions about that, and I didn't dispute that.
Okay. Ayan. Sige, babalikan natin yung topic na yan, yung preferences and matching and selection. Jeffy, hang on. For now, we will go on break. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Stay tuned. We're back on U-Turn on the new channel. We stream live Mondays and Thursdays at 10:30 in the morning. So there are other shows here on the new channel, and I'd like to invite you to watch them. They're all inspiring and interesting. There's always something for everyone. So let's start with the big picture. It shares inspiring stories of notable personalities Mondays to Fridays at 7 p.m. HR Hotline introduces us to the wonderful world of human resources management Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 1 p.m. Have an insightful Saturday afternoon because the family business is everyone's business. This is at 4 p.m. The fourth project is about life, business, and success stories. It's live from Dubai, UAE at 6 p.m. or 10 p.m. Philippine time on Saturdays. Usapang Beauty is about beauty beyond what the eyes can see. Thursdays and Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. The world has faced an unprecedented pandemic. Time to hear positive testimonies straight from those who have recovered from the COVID virus. So please watch COVID Stories Saturdays at 10:30 in the morning. The Home Buyer is where you hear remarkable stories about building and owning a property. Mondays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Laugh and learn through the Puppet Stories Mondays at 5:30 p.m. Magbenta, bumili at tumulong dahil bukas na ang TNC Marketplace. It's an online night bazaar, Thursdays and Fridays at 10 p.m. YOLO is for all of us to appreciate and understand the law better and that it is fun and it can be cool. So this is on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Watch and learn about money and more. It streams live from the Philippines and in the US. Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Philippine time and 5:30 a.m. Pacific time in the US. Two leaders in one platform, TNC The Top, Mondays at 12 noon. So mamaya, meron yan. After Shift is a chillaxin show about your choices and lives after work, Wednesdays and Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Discover and learn strategies on self-leadership to win in life through Win Within on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Dream, achieve, nurture, and inspire. Tag your kids along and watch Danny Art Show Fridays at 5:30 p.m. Global issues, common interests, learn together across borders in foreign affairs. Streams on Tuesdays at 10:30 in the morning. Because health is wealth, we have Healthline on Wednesdays and Fridays at 4 p.m. But wait, there's more. So we have shows that have recently been launched and also ones that are coming up, like Awesome Day, Women at Work, Cyber Next, Tech U, and GGNO, or Good Girls Night Out. So please catch our TNC original shows such as One Day, which is an inspiring 30-minute story that alternates with TNC Town Hall, co-hosted by TNC founders Lloyd and Apple. So please follow us on our channel and on Facebook and on YouTube, and let us help you see the new you. Yay! Dami, no? We're growing by a lot. Ang dami na naming shows. I think we have about 20 and we started only in April. So, ayan. Yan po ang the new channel. Okay, let us have our guest back. Welcome back to the frame, to the studio, Jeff. And let us say hello to some people. Ang dami mong followers, dami mong fans. Actually, daming nanonood ngayon. Tina Liwanag is saying hello, Sir Jeff, and Sia. Sia is saying hi. I'm watching, Sir Jeff. Arnel Lara is saying hi, Jeff and Sia. Always Jeff and Sia. Syempre, Sia is the name of Jeff's daughter. Susan Mendoza. Hello, Jeff and Sia. Love you both, Mama and Papa.
Mama.
Hi, Tita. They're in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Go, Sir Jeff. Ludibel from Ludibel. Dags Kizon. Emojis siya, oh. May heart at saka may 100%. Jesusa Rondero Taruk. Hello, Sir Jeff. And then we have John Recalde. Kuya Jeff. Pumapalakpak siya. And the Dios Banzuela is saying, I've seen how happy Sir Jeff is with Sia. They are both blessed.
San.
Naluluha naman ako doon. Zenith Marie.
San is, we used to work with her at ePerformax, right? And she moved to hosting parties, and she did Sia's very first party, her second birthday celebration in Sia. It was San and her sister who
I
helped me with
see,
it.
I see. Hi, San. Wow. Career shift, pero good job. I think I've seen photos.
Mhm.
Right. And then Zenith Badiola is saying that's good to know that the DSWD is very welcoming and accepting of LGBT couples or singles who want to adopt.
They
Kudos to
are, yes.
totoo naman, no? Terrence Marion, Daddy Jeff, pa-shout out po. Pa-shout out, shout out. David, Angel, Delan saying good morning. Shout out to Japs de Guzman, Marjorie Jose Sancho. Daddy Jeff is best dad, sabi niya. Juan Lulunaria, one of our hosts here on the show, host of the Puppet Stories, is watching from Antipolo. And finally, Rolly Mendoza saying hi, Jeff. And Yeng Cartagena, hi, Yeng. Hi, Carmine and Jeff. Miss you guys. Alright. Thank you for watching, everyone. Okay, so pagpatuloy natin, no? Ay, may game pala muna tayo. It's called Quick Turn. Alright. So Quick Turn is a short game that I play with we play here with a guest, no. We really just want to get to know you better. So it's called Quick Turn because I will mention a few things. It can say right turn if you like it, left turn if you don't like it, U turn if you love it. So I'll mention random things. Okay, Jeff?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was for the
Good for
viewers.
you. Okay, first, the color blue.
Right turn.
Right turn. Kung green.
Green, yes.
U-turn yan.
Turn yan, green.
Basketball.
Volleyball U-turn, yes. Basketball, no, I watch from time to time. But
Okay. Do you play volleyball yourself?
no, I used to when I was kid, but not anymore. But I watch volleyball games, UAAP. So I brought Zia to UAAP game because they were fans of the LSU.
Nice. Okay. And then isaw.
Isa I love, yes, U-turn.
Okay.
Mhm.
Alimasag.
U-turn. Mhm.
How about pineapple sa ulam, pizza, or burger?
Not
So left turn.
left
Okay.
turn.
How about horror stories? Whether movie or
Left turn.
classical literature?
Right.
Nike or Adidas? So ito choice ito, Nike or Adidas.
Nike.
And then long drive.
If I'm not driving, U-turn. If I'm driving, so I hate driving. So
Okay. Get it. And finally, where is your favorite destination for a vacation? It can be a specific area or a basic
New
description.
York, New York. So
New York City.
yes, so I love Broadway musicals. So in my previous, well, my even my with my current job, when I get the opportunity to travel to the US, I would almost always do a side trip to New York to watch musicals there. So
Ayan.
the
Okay.
plan is to bring Zia soon. Hopefully
Oo.
when COVID's over.
Oo. Ako rin eh. That's what I miss eh. Being able to just head out even for a weekend, even if it's, just long distance driving away. Nami-miss ko talaga yon ngayong panahon na to. Okay, so let's continue our discussion, Jeff. You talked about matching, no, that it took longer. Is it because yun nga mahaba yung pila or very specific yung preferences mo? What were
No, I
your
don't. So they don't typically share with you the story up until you get matched, right? So you would only get a call from the SWD as soon as you get matched. And for me, it took me, I think, a year and a half. And then what's unique about my story is, so I got a call, I think July 2018, that I got matched. So when I went to the SWD, Kasi it's not like in the movies kasi, di ba, where you would visit an orphanage or an NGO, you would find a baby that you like and you will say, okay, she's the baby that will become my child. It doesn't happen that way. You don't get to see the baby at all. So based on the preference that you listed or you mentioned to your social worker, you may or may not get matched with a baby with a similar profile. So I got called July 2018. So I went to the office, and what you will see is a case study report, which is literally a folder with everything and that they know about the child's parents. And then at the very end is a black and white picture. I didn't even get to the last page. I knew from page one that I would say yes. Um, so I did that, and I said yes. And then something happened. I don't think this happens with most adoptive families, but I got a call because the next step after you say yes is you have to write a letter that confirms you're saying yes to the match, and then you will be given the opportunity to visit the baby wherever the baby is or at that time. So I was waiting for my call. I was not getting it and then I got a text or a call yata from SIDA, and SIDA said, "Sir, there's a slight complication. The NGO who's caring for Zia right now sent an appeal." Uh, and so I asked, bakit? Is it because I'm single? Is it because I'm gay? Is there anything wrong with my profile, etc.? And they're really not allowed to share the information. But so that prompted me to write a letter to the DSWD director. So an angel gave me that advice. I won't say who, but somehow through my network, someone said, I think if you write a letter to explain why you think you're the right match for Zia, then you should do it. So I did that, and I think I've posted that sa Facebook profile ko, where it's a
Right.
very lengthy email. I explained na, sir, I understand that the NGO. Might have might prefer a traditional family, which I understand, right? And I said at the end of the day, it's not really about what I want; it's
Best.
what's best for Zia. But I explained to in my letter why I felt I was the right choice. So I said, I have been preparing for this. She will get the best possible care and love, even more than she would get from a traditional family. Um, and then I even outlined uh, the things I would do about school, about the home life, yung home situation. And then and it was a very emotional process for me writing the letter. Um, because I felt, and in my letter I said, I may not be the first choice for her, but in my mind and in my heart, Sia is my first choice. And if you allow it, I hope you could give me the opportunity to show uh, the SWD and the NGO that yeah, I am the right choice. And then I got a call weeks after that I said, okay, uh, sir, okay na, let's visit Zia. So I'm so glad that I wrote that letter, and that is the same letter that I will use to tell Zia about her story, because I, she will find out anyway. That's why I've been posting it. I think I posted it on her third birthday, and I plan to do it every year on her birthday until she has a fuller understanding of what we've gone through as dad and child. Because in that letter, everything is there talaga. How I felt at that time, and even up until today, how I feel about their situation. That love letter captures everything. The all every my love for her and everything. It's in that. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's online.
I've seen it, and I think if I were to guess what did it for the decision makers, I think it was the part where you said in the end, it's really what's best for. I will respect your decision, and I'm all for what's best for the child. I think parang ano yan eh, parang King Solomon na statement yan eh. Na parang doon napatunayan na hindi selfish itong taong to at mapagbigay siya because the concern really is not me, but the child, the child. So, congratulations. All right. Ngayon, Jeff, so what was the so after the letter, weeks later, na-visit niyo na si Zia. How much time before you were able to bring her home? Since that,
So I think so. July was when I got matched. I waited mga 2 weeks from the time I was told there's an appeal and I wrote the letter. We were able to bring Zia home August. It took me 2 visits to the NGO, and the visit syempre was initially was awkward, right? Because they had questions. I mean, I'm sure naman they weren't doubting my capability, but you know they had questions or potential concerns. So going there, I was somewhat anxious kasi what would they say, etc. But it was very light. It was very light. Even my very first visit, the very first time I saw Zia, that moment, uh, that I can still like vividly remember she was playing with a few other kids,
Mhm.
and then she already saw pictures of me. That's part of the matching process. That the child, before you even get to visit, they would show her or him a picture of the
The
adoptive
parent.
parents, so that when it's the first time to see them in person, it's not going to be super awkward. And it wasn't. And the very first thing I remember very clearly, one of the very first things that she did when we were playing was she reached for a book. Sabi ko,
Ah,
okay, very good. We're going to be a real good match kasi um, I read and I've always wanted to be a teacher. So somehow really siguro God willed it so that we would be together. And so now part of our daily routine is I make sure I get to read to her every single day, regardless of how busy my
right,
schedule is.
right. And what I'm sure pinaghandaan mo nga no in terms of the home, the room, 'di ba? You know, things, practical things, and you outlined or arranged your schedule para fatherhood fits into that. Were there some things na you didn't prepare for na nagulat ka? Alam mo yun, it could be pleasant surprises pero parang hindi mo naisip, hindi mo na-realize na mangyayari pala ito dito sa fatherhood.
So the schedule is what I knew that the one of the biggest shifts from being single and being very focused, sometimes too focused on work, would be the adjustment in schedule. Because before Zia, I was the boss who would call employees on weekends and would not care what you're doing with your family. I I'm sure you've heard some horror stories about me, you know, expecting a lot from people that I worked with, and and somehow Zia being part of my life has brought me that sense of balance. So, and I was not ready for it because I was uh, expecting, okay, this is how much time I would spend on work and at Sia. But when Sia came, she became instantly, she became the priority. And somehow I've been lucky because I have been with employers and companies who have been very supportive. And I've been able to, I think, deliver the same level of results, but without sacrificing home, the quality of being with Sia. And I'm very, very thankful for that. So even with COVID, I think the biggest adjustment is the schedule, right? I've had more meetings since March. I typically work 10, 11 hours, but most of and Sia is sleeping, right? So when she wakes up, so I get to be with her at home even during her school activities. So
Mhm. Okay. Alright, sige. Marami pa tayong pag-uusapan, okay? But for now, we will go on our last break. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to U Turn on the new channel. And while our guest Jeff Mendoza is coming back in, let us read some comments ulit no from Alvin John Raimundo. Hi Ninong Jeff Mendoza. Me and Karen are watching. We're proud of you. Jeff, pasok ka na. Zenith Badiola is saying, I'm also an adoptive parent and I'm watching after you shared the link in our adoption group. Ay, maraming nanonood sa grupo. Oo nga, that's something you do, no?
Yes, I'll talk about that. Yes, because there are support groups for adoptive families. We have Facebook chat groups, and then also I've had the opportunity to share my story with. Eh, this is the first time I'm doing it online, but I've done it in person, mostly with adoptive families na. So what I'm hoping is through this that it reaches a wider audience kasi there are
And
a lot of kids who are
who need homes.
who need homes. Yes,
Mm-mm. Oo nga. So hopefully with this episode, more children and parents are matched.
yes,
Ayan.
exactly.
We also have Tessie Palmer or Palmer. Is watching from Poblacion, Makati. Hi to you. Here's a common friend of ours, Mark Luis Tasio. Hi, Papi.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Carmine and Sir Jeff. Edna Lopez, best daddy. Zenith is saying your sincerity and humility show through. That's why you were, ayan, may nawala. Ayan, you were given Zia. I would love to read that letter now. Yes, halongkatin nyo po sa, sa FB ni Jeff. Makikita nyo yan.
Yes,
Filippo Mendoza. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Ma'am Carmine. More power to you both and to TNC. Thank you, Filippo.
that's my papa.
Hello po. Dalia Romana is saying, hi, Jeff. Thank you for sharing your inspirational story. Glad to see you again. Thank you very much to everyone who's watching, who's staying tuned. Marami-raming nanonood ngayon at ang daming comments. Ngayon, Jeffy, I have some photos to show you and then please tell us a little bit about the photos, ha?
Okay.
Konti lang naman. Ayan. I think this is where you...
Yeah, so this is one of the events that I attended. This was Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. So I got invited to share my adoption story with BSP employees. And Sida is the lady, is that orange or cream? I'm somewhat colorblind. Nude na blouse. That's Sida.
Third from the right.
Third from the right. She is the person who made it happen for me. And beside her is also, I think that's Ate Caro, also from the SWD.
I see. So you mentioned this is Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. How is that? You have companies or organizations sponsor these events? Ganun ba yun?
Yeah, so I think there are, so the SWD, they run, not conferences, but they host events where, adoptive parents share their stories with others, but there are also private companies that do it. In this case, BSP, because one of their executives also happens to be an adoptive parent, and she wanted a similar story to be shared with the BSP team.
All right. Okay, let's look at the next photo.
Miss Susan pala is Miss Susan. Oh, there's Sida. Hi, Sida. That's it. Oh, this is Zia's second birthday celebration. So shout out again to San, who helped organize this.
Swerte ni Zia, oh. How many princesses are there in the party?
Yeah. And interestingly, that same dress in this picture on the right side, she was wearing today in class kasi today is Colorful Monday. And they wanted the kids to wear rainbow color theme outfits.
I love that picture, lalo na yung tinatali ko yung sapatos niya. Such a parent thing to do, really. Ayan. And then the next photo, konti na lang.
Yes, this was one of the first times we went out swimming. I think this was in Clark. or Subic. This was in Subic.
Okay.
And something I've been wanting to do. I promised her we would go out, and I even promised her she would start swimming lessons this year. But COVID happened, so hopefully next
Oh,
year.
right. Okay. Ganda ng picture na yan. And then,
I love this photo.
I love it too. Very, parang very natural, very natural talaga na gagawin ng father yung ganyang buhat. Next photo, please.
Yes, our first Halloween. So what's not shown on this photo is I came in also as a lion.
Matching kayo.
Lion and cub kami. Yes, this
Oh.
was when I was still with Concentric. So she had that. It was a fun day. But she got sick after this kasi mainit.
Okay. Anong experience mo dito sa mga yung first vacation, first birthday party, first Halloween? How would you describe, your experience or your feeling?
Sometimes I feel super 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 blessed. So I mentioned kasi I think you know me, and folks who are watching who used to or who currently work with me know that I am at work. I'm very results driven. I like to win, etc. But being a parent, being a daddy to Zia brings a different level of satisfaction and happiness, and a feeling of being blessed really. So yung usually mga milestones namin, I would ask, what have I done to deserve this, right? Because I wasn't necessarily, I've had many roles in the past, and I've always wanted every single time to succeed, to be number one, etc. And then I don't know, I'm a work in progress, but every time yung mga first milestones niya, like literally iiyak. I remember a couple of months back, I saw her for the first time in a school uniform, and I couldn't help but cry a bit.
Right. So you said you're a work in progress, meaning parang nagso-soften ka or a different side of you is becoming stronger, ganoon. Nakakatawa. Tuluha rin ako ngayon.
Really the sense of balance. It's really the sense of balance, and especially at work, I am a lot more understanding of what folks go through. In the past, it's just results, results, results. But now I understand, that people who come in who work are either parents or dads or moms or sisters at home, and then somehow you have to understand, why they're working, because even before being an employee, they're moms or dads or children first, and you have to understand that part of the person you're working with.
Right. And I suppose, sabi mo nga, you like to, you like winning, no? Competitive ka that way. Would you say na the definition of winning is also changing for you?
Yes. So I think it is, to me, it's become, Zia talaga has become front and center in everything. And I think that's why at the beginning I said I had a series of failed relationships, etc. That was because I was very selfish. I had a different sense of what would make the relationship work, which is mostly what was working for me. But with Zia being part of my life, I realized no, it's not about the daddy. It's not about the parent. It's really about Zia. And ultimately, what makes me happy is what will make her happy. If I'm able to, help her grow so that she finds true happiness, that is going to be my happiness. That's why work in progress, right? So it's hard for me to say now that I'm doing well, because only time will tell when Zia gets older. Hopefully, I'm doing the right thing. Most of the right. I'm doing the right things now, so that when she grows up, she ends up happy.
Right. Oo. Nice. Ngayon, meron pa tayong last photo. Just one more.
Yes, so Jimboree, I think this was her very first school experience. I think less than a few weeks, maybe a couple of weeks nang mauwi ko siya. There's a gymboree that's very nearby. And I enrolled her there because, I wanted her, because in her, the NGO that was taking care of her, they're used to, she's used to having other kids with her. And I didn't want that situation to change abruptly by just being at home with me. So that was one of the things that I did. And then interestingly, I mentioned I wanted to be a teacher growing up. So where I live, I rent out units and my apartment units, and my most of the folks who rent those from me are teachers. So I'm a teacher also to Zia and her friends who come over daily.
That's nice. Oo, tsaka I think I've seen some videos no where you bake or make something together with Zia. I think she's very fortunate that you're her father and you choose to keep her well-rounded, expose her to different adventures, different experiences, and books and people. Galing.
I hope, but yeah,
Oo.
she's not
Ayan,
lucky. I'm the lucky dad.
pareho kayo. Ayan. So we have a lot more greetings coming in. CV, I think that's Sida, no, is saying she loves that picture. Ray de la Cruz, another common friend of ours, is
Hey,
saying,
Ray.
hi Chino. Bakit si Chino ang binabati mo, Ray? Hindi, nagbati yata si Ray earlier. Minette Suarez is saying, Minette, o nagpaparamdam. One of the best leaders I've known, according to Chino. Salute on being an awesome dad, Jeff. Chino is one of the hosts here. Together with Trisha Montemayor, we co-host a show. Susan Nueles, wow, Sir Jeff, congratulations and thank you for advocating legal
Hi,
adoption.
Miss Susan. Yeah, she's from DSWD too. Yes, that
Oo.
is the only way. The only way is the DSWD way.
Real quick, bakit?
And it
Why?
doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you anything. The process doesn't cost you anything. Well, except the I think there's a question here. The judicial process. You have to get a lawyer. I was lucky because Yam, who we used to work with, she has a friend lawyer who also helped me.
I see.
So,
Okay. Okay. And what's the main disadvantage dun sa illegal na na adoption?
well, it's illegal. Number one.
Yes.
The
Pero
other
kasi
piece,
lumusot, di ba?
yeah, and it doesn't protect you from a possibility that the biological parents, will change their mind. So it doesn't protect the adoptive parent, and then ultimately, I think it's also it doesn't protect the child. So it doesn't cost a lot.
Okay.
In fact, the DSW, you don't have to spend anything when you go through the DSWD process. If you know lawyers, uh, that process is fairly quick also.
Okay. Alright. Sige, pagpatuloy natin. From Yang, I'm happy for you, Jeff. My heart. Whenever I get to see photos of you and Zia, napapasmile ako sobra. Ayan. Hashtag best dad. From RJ Balagtas, heart, heart, heart. Byron Perez is saying, very happy for you, former neighbor. Hi Sir Jeff from Luli. RJ Ignacio is saying, proud of you as a father. Okay. Jeff, may tanong ako. Actually,
Mm.
kulang sa oras, ano, ang daming pwedeng pagkwentuhan. Thank you in advance. Thank you ngayon pa lang, no, for taking the time. Alam ko that matutulog ka na. Because Jeff works in the night shift, ladies and gentlemen. My question is, who do you consult on, day-to-day, hindi naman sa day-to-day, but every now and then, who do you consult on parenting or what's best for Zia in certain instances? With
So
your
different people. I have a network and Facebook. So usually office mates who are moms and dads. There's not one person that I go to. I don't think there is a playbook in parenthood. And then a lot of it, I do it trial by error, right? But if I need to ask for help or advice, I usually ask the moms that I've worked with in the past.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then who are some people who you would like to thank? uh, on this journey and
So,
fatherhood.
so Sida is very popular now in this episode, right? I've mentioned.
Right.
Um, so Sida would be the person who really made it happen. And then Dre and Gracie, who were really truly my inspiration. If it weren't for them and the experiences they shared, I would have either probably waited longer or maybe I would have pushed through it all. So thank you to their families, and I'm excited for our families to get together kasi that's three LGBT adoptive families that have kids that are almost the same age.
Oo nga, oo.
Mm.
Cohort sila, magkaka-generation sila. All right. Now, before we wrap up the show, Jeff, do you have any advice for parents, potential parents who would like to get into adoption, whether traditional couple or single person, single specifically, or LGBTQ, whether single or couple?
Yeah, so I have had people reach out to me, people who are either thinking about it or have started talking to their partner or single, uh, whether they're LGBT or they're straight. I think and the very first thing that I say is uh, go to that seminar because I think every all of your question all will be answered there, and it's non-committal, right? You attend, and if it takes you a year to think about it more, that's okay. There's no you're not going to be forced to submit your application after you attend the seminar. I think the process is you reach out to your DSWD branch. If you're from Metro Manila, the NCR branch in Ligarda. And then if you're from other provinces, there's a regional DSWD group that does the seminar. So that's the very first step. And then I think more than that, from a just if you have the means, if you are blessed in your life and you have so much love to give, and you're thinking about starting your own family, whether it's the traditional way or the non-traditional way, go do it because there are kids who need homes. And take it from me, who thought about it for many years. It has been the most meaningful and most rewarding experience that I have ever done in my life. Um, and if I am this happy, I guarantee you guys will be this happy or even happier.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Jeff, may humahabol pa ng bate, si Duz.
Hey,
Duz Martinez Libuen. Hi, Duz. Common friend namin din ni Jeff ito. Jeff, last na. You openly share your story, di ba? And Zia's story. Obviously, you will openly tell her that, you adopted her, that's how you became a family. Why did you decide on that? And, what's the advice against not telling a child?
um, there's no other way because whether as an adoptive parent you decide to tell your child or not, they will know. And it is always best if that message comes from a place of love, right? So start it at home because, people outside of the moment your child steps out of the house, especially when they go to school, people will tease her, and there's almost always a negative connotation to it. That's why I think it is your responsibility as a parent to start to tell your child as early as possible and to use positive language so that when the time comes that she gets teased or someone says ampon, in her mind she would have already understood it as it's not a negative thing, it's a great thing. In fact, it's a blessing. And that's what I've been doing with Sia. We're starting to read books, starting to introduce the concept because you have to be able to prepare your child for that because I don't think there's a way for them to not know or to hide it from them, and it will only hurt them and you long term if you decide not to share the truth from as early as possible.
Right, right. I agree. I agree. Ang galing. Ayan, so thank you so much, Jeff. This is one of the best episodes we've had here because your story is a love story and you have so much to share. Napaka-positive ng energy mo and yun nga, no? Sabi mo, you're a work in progress. From the old you, this is now the newer you, and you will
Mm-mm.
I think it's shining through in the conversation and in your sharing. So maraming salamat for sharing your story with us, for spending that time with us today
Thank
and
you.
inspire more people.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I enjoyed this.
Great, great. Oo, thank you. Thank you also. So more power to you and Zia. Congratulations to both of you for finding each other. And I look forward to seeing more updates. Excited na ako lumaki rin siya. No? Pero of course, we'll let time pass. Pero I'm sure she will be well-rounded and smart. Like you, di ba?
Thank you, Carmine.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Jeff. I'll see you again. Please stay backstage.
Bye.
Stay backstage. Don't leave just yet. All
Okay.
right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Jeff Mendoza, today's guest. He is Vice President for Operations in a call center. But more importantly, he's the father to Zia, his daughter, and he just shared with us the journey of becoming a family through adoption. So, once again, Jeff, thank you for gracing our show and sharing your story. And to those who have stayed tuned, thank you too. Thank you for your comments. I hope you enjoyed the show, although maybe enjoy is not the only word that we want here. You were inspired, you were touched by the episode. Ayan. So I'll see you again on Thursday for another inspiring story. Athlete naman po ang guest natin sa Thursday and he's a member of the Philippine team for golf, and they won bronze in the recent SEA Games. So we will guest Luis Castro on Thursday. And meanwhile, please stay tuned also because at 12 o'clock we have TNC The Talk. It's where you will hear two speakers speak in one platform. It's on at 12 o'clock, so stay tuned for that. All right. Meanwhile, happy lunch sa inyong lahat. Again, thank you for staying with us. I'll see you again. Bye!